All right, TikTok fans, this is a title deed. This is my title deed, the one that I thought I owned. Now hang with me, please. This is some invaluable information that I think every landowner should know, that we don't own our land. We are tenants in commons, which means we're a joint tenant with the state. We're in joint tenancy with the state. It's a certificate of title. Obviously, this is why they've chucked out or torn up all our original title deeds, is because they don't want us to see this stuff. So I kept mine. Certificate of Title, Real Property Act 1900. It says here, I won't read it all, I just want to read the important parts. It says, I certify that the person, so anyone that's awake understands that the person is the birth certificate. It's the trust. It's owned and controlled by the state. Now, mum and dad sign that document, send it off to the state when we're born. The state sends us back a birth certificate, which is a trust. It's owned and controlled by them. It's not us. It's not ours. It's got nothing to do with us. We get to use it under usufruct rules. And I understand why. So it says, I certify that the person described in the first schedule is the registered proprietor of an estate in fee simple. Now, the proprietor, I'll explain who that proprietor is. It's not us, it's the state in the next bit. So it basically goes on and it just explains a few other things about the folio and entries with the Registrar General. Crown lands and lands acquired from the Crown to be subject by this Act. It says, read it. It says sold, leased, dedicated, reserved or otherwise. Just talks about leases, doesn't talk anything about ownership or freehold or anything like that. This here talks about the proprietor, mind you, the person. So any person seized or possessed of any freehold or otherwise or other estate or interest in land at law or in equity, in possession, in futurity or expectancy. The proprietor is the state. It's not us. Doesn't talk anything about man or woman. So it says here, bringing of other Crown land under this Act. It says the Registrar General may bring under the provisions of this Act any land to which this part applies, not being land referred to in subsection or in section 13A, blah blah blah, by creating a folio of the register recording the state of New South Wales as the proprietor of land. Bingo. Down the bottom it says the Registrar General may, in respect of a lease, doesn't say freehold, in respect of lease, the particulars of which are recorded in a folio. The folio is the title deed, which they recorded it. Folio of the register pursuant to subsection 2, create a folio of the register in the name of the person who, in the Registrar General opinion, is entitled to be the registered proprietor of the lease. The proprietor is the state, it's not us. So here it says, bring your perpetual leases of Crown land under this Act. See, it talks about lease, doesn't talk about freehold, where the land to which this part applies is held under the perpetual lease from the Crown. The Registrar General may, by creating a folio of the register in the name of the person is the state, in the opinions of the Registrar General, is entitled to be the registered proprietor of the perpetual lease from the Crown, bring the land under the provisions of this Act. So it talks about the proprietor of the perpetual lease. So the perpetual means indefinite, like for as long as possible. So the proprietor, which is the state, has a lease for however long, and you and we sell it, and we've got an equitable interest. So when we sell it, we can make a profit on it. We've got to pay all the taxes and whatnot, but we have an equitable interest, but we don't own it. And in perpetual lease means forever. So basically that explains everything, guys. You got the Wayne Glues and the Rod Cullertons, God bless them, their heart's in the right place, but I just don't think we're getting our facts right. We don't own the property, we're only leaseholders, or we're joint tenants with the state. So when we have a tenant that lives in our investment property, for example, we've subleased that property out to a tenant, and we're the tenant. of the state. So the same with Bali. We can't buy property over here. We can only purchase leases, and we purchase it from the originals. Whereas in Australia, we should be able to do the same thing with our originals, but unfortunately the state gets involved. And yeah, we've got a deal with the state, which we weren't, I guess we were hoodwinked. But in Bali, we purchase a lease from the landholders and the landowners, and they allow us to utilise their property as we please, as long as there's an agreement in place, which I love because it's a handshake agreement, and we sign a bit of paper saying that we agree with certain things, and that's it. We don't have the state involved, we don't have governments involved. We've got no one involved in our personal business. Whereas in Australia, the states cut out the originals, which is a crime. They've got their greasy noses involved, and then everything we do is basically between me or us and the state, because the state has the contract with the Crown, and then the Crown has the lease, the contract with the state again, and then the state then has a lease with us, and then if we want to purchase a property under that joint tenancy, we then sublease it to our tenant. So it's a maze, but once you get your head around it, it all makes sense. So hopefully you guys can appreciate this information, and we don't own our property, we're only leaseholders.